Hi, boss. Yeah, I got your message. It's so
Oh, I
late.
can't do that. Don't be crazy, Cass. Come in here.
Oh, hang on.
Look, let me help you. I don't explain it to
You
you.
turn this.
Involved in what? There's
I'm
someone
watching a
talking loudly
movie.
right now. Whose name are you
Hang
gonna come
on.
up with? I'm your friend. Take my hand. Shut the fuck up. All right, guys, clear out. Whose name?
Okay. So, what was I? Okay, so you asked me how I always bitch about. They try to lure me, like, well, I go places where I want to go, but people try to run me off the road, or try to kill me, or try to. But I didn't die. Um. So, okay, so I came back here. They put me in jail, in and out all the time, and they always take fingerprint every time I get arrested. All the time, rebooking, and there's some criminals that works there at the booking area. Um, and I noticed something weird, like they sneaky and they keep taking my fingerprint over and over and over. So, and they would spray my hand with shit, like water. It was just sometimes just water, or it was just water. It didn't clean like they're supposed to clean it with alcohol, right? Because if they're doing fingerprint, your hands are oily, right? So they would just use water, and water does not clean the oil properly or stuff. So they could be like use my fingerprint and for somebody else to use it, or anyone, like people who get locked up in jail and stuff, and they couldn't would probably switch them off or use their fingerprint or try to frame someone, or they can do a lot if they copy fingerprint, because they do have gadget that it just it can easily just scan your identity with, or yeah, your identity or DNA or whatever, to frame anyone or to put someone, lock them away, and then you might never come back out, but then they have a lookalike imposter come out claiming they're that person. That makes sense? And I think that's what they were trying to do to me. They were trying to probably either kill me off, or frame me, or something crazy. So they can do that to anyone. Um, that's my theory of shit happen, like those fuckers. What else I can think of? They can do that to anyone. They can do that to even people who are dead, and then they're not dead. Like they would just kill them off and then clone another. And there's illegal people or using them as that person to live their life. That makes sense? It could be, I mean, if I, you know how my social security, how the social security got mixed up with the my son being the taxpayer, and then my husband, which was not the taxpayer, they switch. So I wonder, I'm not the only one that it happened to. Maybe it happened to a lot of people when all that shit was happening, when they closed down the fake ass corona shit. They closed down the airport, they closed down the border, they closed down the government workers, so they weren't getting paid. And they just, and remember what happened at the White House? I mean, there were a lot of Americans, they were frustrated and shit. And then they probably knew something was up, and they went to try to attack the White House. But then the White House closed every year, or every 6 months, or twice a month. That's fucked. That's probably, there were spies. Who was in charge of that? And maybe, okay, so I remember when Trump became the president, and then a hella shit was happening. And they were like, social media was trying to like, blah, 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 talk hella shit. Anyway, even over here too, on my social media, I was getting negative shit, right? So I made a comment. I said, where was my comment? It was my original Facebook. I made a comment. I said something like, well, I remember him being an asshole. He's still an asshole, but he's the same. It's the same person. He's the president. He's still the same person. And people was like bringing up hella shit about him being a blah blah blah. And a lot of women was coming up to say he did this, he did that, and blah 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 blah. Right? And all of that came out when he became the president and shit. And I was like, and then I went to like politics shit here in Utah, to their meeting and shit, and I was like trying to follow up because something was not right here, because hella shit was happening. And then a lot of voters, right? They claim like, oh, we they're for him, but they were faking it. That makes sense. And and it's only like 2 hours from here to there. So there's also a lot of thing I remember when um it was in Lewinsky. Remember Lewinsky, the girl with the president then, before, I mean, what's his name? It's not Bush. So, the one that said, I did not have sexual relationship with that lady. That lady, Lewinsky. Okay, and all that was happening, there there was a lady died. There was a lot of women that there's just magically just murdered. What's his name? They lived in they were resident in like in the San Mateo County. You know who I'm talking about, right? Can't think of the name. Fuck. It's the president. That's it. I did not have sexual relationship with Lewinsky. They didn't. They did not have sexual relationship. He just had oral sex. That was Lewinsky. But nah, you look for me. I think the president was set up by one of their people because there was a guy that was, now that I think about it, there was a guy when I lived in Hayward. I lived everywhere because I was working as caregiver. So there was a guy that lived like, it was just like my backyard neighborhood, Alameda County or County. He went to jail for the wife that went missing. She was pregnant. Then they framed him. And that woman, I think it was the woman that was giving oral sex to that president. And he was, man or man. He was set up by her and kind of fucked him up and his family or whatever. I don't know. They never found the body of that guy in the Marine County. They claim they found the bone. And they claim the baby bone too. That was a fucking lie set up. That was to frame the husband to go to jail. Is he still alive? Because he went to jail. I never heard about him, if he came out or not. And if he did come out, it's not really him. That guy is probably still in jail. Somewhere. Or dead. And that prostitute that they say, that prostitute was hired to like have an affair with him. It was all a plot. Now I think about it. The family had money. A lot of money. The whole family. So that would... That was a setup. And you know that president's daughter? She went to school at Stanford. She studied at Stanford. I wonder if she's still alive. Or she's probably dead. You know that guy that stole Facebook from MySpace? I think he has something to do with that. That's just my theory.